Good morning. I want to make two videos this morning. I have attempted two times so far. So, I'm just going to break them up into two videos. Make sure my alarms don't go off. So, what has happened here is, and this is on almost all of the charts that I'll show you, is that we on the daily traded through our, you know what? On the daily, we traded through our, hold on, current interval and below, and I'm going to lock that. So the expectation then, we're in an area of support. This blue area is an area of support. So with that, the expectation is that we are creating a double bottom here and that we will trade back up into these two and then potentially use them as resistance. And so is that what's occurring? I think so. Based on what I just looked at on the lower time frame charts, I still do think that we are in that process with Tesla, that we will get a bounce. This morning, while everything else was bearish in pre-market, Tesla was printing green candles. Now it has retraced to the 200, but bullish stochastics everywhere. On the hourly, the 21 and 50 are acting as support. So what this looks like to me is that today we will likely get a trade, a higher high than these highs before we sell off again. So our 15, let me move this. Our 15 is, I draw my trade perspective for these lower time frame trades from the 15, 21, 50. It is bullish. I am cognizant of the fact that they are very close together. They are converging on one another. So that means that on any one of these candles, they could cross and become bearish. But right now, what I would be looking for based on this is on my lower time frame, exactly what we have, a trade into the 200 moving average. And then I have to be patient to see what happens there. And if it takes out that, then I will be waiting for an entry here on a trade at this 200. So for me, I don't know. I have to see how this shakes out at the open. Do we get a big red candle? Do we get a big green candle? Do we get both? But I have my potential or my expectations established of the possibilities. So we could get a higher high than these highs and then sell off, or we could get a deeper retrace and push up to that 200 moving average. So that is the perspective on Tesla. But let me explain what is going on with, this is the same chart basically. Came down into a fib level. We started to print what looked like a double top, but now we are printing bullish candles. This is still kind of, I don't know, this is saying consolidation to me. 4 hour is very bearish. So a target, downside target on Apple would be 205, but at the very least a lower low than, let's be precise, 208.42. Before we would look for any change of direction. The hourly, although they did attempt to cross, is very bearish on Apple, as is the 15. So we could draw a fib here just so we have, or we're aware, I'll say, actually here. So we're aware of the fact that there is a potential to bounce here. But right now, everything is looking really bearish everywhere. And the reason is because, let's look at NVDA. Same scenario here. We had traded below the 200 moving average. With the others, we had not made a really strong attempt to trade back up to the 200 moving average. NVDA did make that attempt. It might continue to the 200 moving average before selling off, or it might find resistance here, which it appears that it's doing. So that brings up two things. The potential that those other charts that we looked at will make this attempt up to the 200, but they may not. But NVIDIA has done that, has completed that. And so now it is selling off again. So we got kind of a double top here. We failed to create a higher high, failed to create a lower low. But we do have an area of support, and I'll explain what these are and how they're created. We have an area of support, and our 50 moving average is at 115.13. So that is a potential target on NVIDIA. As far as entries goes, this is very, let's see, this is bearish, but to the 200 moving average at 115.22. See how those align? 115.13, 115.22. So that is shaping up to be a definite target. I would draw a low time frame fib here. Just to get an idea of where we are. We are really close, have been really close to the 886, finding support there. So if we break that convincingly, that would be significant. Our 15-minute stochastics are bullish. It looks like we're attempting to get across of the 2200. So what this looks like to me, based on the fact that I need to be looking for a short here, is I want to see a trade up into at least these moving averages, perhaps this fib level, and then buy a put there for the sell-off. And this is basically the entry time frame, but I'm going to make another video about how I have been using the hour, the 15, the 5, and the 3. I just really want to update you guys on some of the stuff that we've been trading. The difference, a lot of differences with SMI and Intel, but they are basically the same chart. So the difference with them is they are both, and I will put them up here side by side. Daily chart. All right, so one is a little more. I think it's because the indicator template is different, but whatever. You can see that this is kind of the same thing here. We've traded to the 7-1 here and through the 886 here. But on SMCI, we have on the daily chart, we have support of the 50 moving average. So that is significant. You can see that this moving average formation has lent to or created this consolidation scenario here, right? So the question then becomes, what's going to happen? Are we going to break the 20 and get to the 200, or will we trade to lower fib levels? Let's look at the indicators to see. We have a bullish daily stochastic, pretty bullish 4-hour stochastic. I like this because compared to the other chart setups, this one is the most promising. Bearish, oversold on the 15, bullish 15. 15 minute 2150. So that would say that we have to look for calls on SMCI today. I'm just going to be watching this one, but I do think that this is one of the more bullish charts that we have looked at. As is, now you can see the difference. On all of the other daily charts that we looked at, we were in this scenario where we had traded below the 200 and either did make an attempt at it or had not made an attempt at it yet. Where with Intel, we've traded back through it and now are using the 200 as support. We don't have that scenario on another chart that we've looked at anyway. So it's a bit of a difference with Intel. But you can see our next supports are 23.26 and 22.37. We are oversold on all of the lower time frame charts. So I'm in leaps on this at the money. I don't really sweat it unless it starts to try to come back down here into these lower fib levels. Then I might want to do something about my trade, but I'm looking at until perhaps trading to the 50 Fibonacci level. Yeah, it is looking like widespread bearishness for the day. But that's what it's based on, that it was under this 200. The expectation was that, like that one chart that we looked at, it would trade up into the 200 or the 220 cross before selling off again. So those were our targets. It doesn't look like that is happening, at least not right now. I think we have, let's see, low here is 217.02. Oh no, okay. I was gonna say I think we have a lower low on Tesla, but nope, 217.02, and more recently 222.28. So I shorted Tesla yesterday. Let's see if I was justified in doing so. And so coming into the market, the 15-minute 2150 were bearish. We got a retrace up into the 50 and then a sell-off. So the expectation here was that we would get another retrace and sell off with a lower low. We have not gotten that yet. Let's see. So you have a strong break of the 200 on the 5-minute chart. Support is at 232.72 on the 15. So you might want to write that down if you want to trade Tesla or TSLA today. What not really concerns me, but what I am cognizant of, aware of, is that we do have a support situation going on here. So again, I have to watch Tesla and see how it handles 232.77 is where the 50 is on this chart, and 232.72. So right in that zone. I have to see what it does there. Of course, I bought puts, so I would like to see a lower low than yesterday's lows. But that is the reality. I have to see how it gets handled there. And I think that's pretty much the updates on everything that we have traded this week. You can see real quick. I want you to see something on Walmart. Walmart is still putting. It is at an area of support, although that is kind of an insignificant looking support to me. What is this? So Target would be, our 50 is at 79.72. The point of this is that Walmart is still a put. You just have to get the proper entry. 82.79. No floor on this 4-hour chart. Okay, we do have, so we will probably get a bounce, but then you will be able to short Walmart again if you so choose. It seems like this, what we kind of always knew, is that this is going to be a much deeper retrace than they have let on. And so thinking like 886.79 on all of these charts. Let's see what that, yeah. We've done already that on Apple. So for what it's worth, I think this will be a longer bearish move than we think. I think that we'll get our emotions played with like we have for these last couple days, with fake bounces and dead cat bounces along the way. But right now, I don't think that there's anything going on that suggests that we are just going to have market euphoria again anytime soon. So I'm going to end that video here. But today I will make sure to make a very detailed video of the content that I intended to talk about last night, which is how to time your entries, how to find your entries on your own plays as well as on any plays that I might call. But I'm going to end this here and get this video to you guys in the chat.